Hello, podcast listeners. You're in for a doozy. This episode of JJ Meets World takes a 30-year-old Dear Abby letter, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of JJ Meets World. And if you feel so inclined, find our email address and send us what you would do in this situation. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. JJ Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is. He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. JJ has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirled as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called JJ Meets World.
Tucker, do you ever read Dear Abby?
I have. It's been a long time. I read Dear Abby until I started reading Savage Love with Dan Savage. Yeah? And then that became the advice columnist that I would read for a long time. I actually have not kept up in the advice column space. Is Dear Abby still going?
It is still going. Now, I don't know if Abby is still alive, but there's certainly someone writing it, right? So I thought that we would just pick a random Dear Abby from 1996, from 30 years ago, and, kind of go through it. What do you think about that?
I love that. Wasn't 1996 the year Batman Forever came out, or was that 95?
I don't recall what year Batman Forever came out. You'd probably know better.
No. When you said the year 1996, the first thing that came to my mind was playing Kiss from a Rose off of my CD of Batman Forever. So I'm thinking that's when that movie came out.
Did you see that they included that song in the trailer for the Lego Batman game that's coming out? That is
which
genius.
Is one of the best gaming trailers I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. You ready? This is from... Let's see, the Dear Abby Archive, December 11th, 1996. Dear Abby, when I was in 8th grade, I didn't like the boys, in caps. Building forts were much more interesting, but when my first love walked into our classroom, I knew I loved him the second I saw him. We liked each other all during high school, although my parents told me I was too young to like boys. When he gave me gifts, I had to give them back. When he offered me his class ring, I wasn't allowed to take it. It silently broke my heart. In all those years, I didn't ever tell him I loved him, or how much. He was the valedictorian of our class, and after high school, he went on to Stanford University. I went to nurses training. His life prospered, mine disintegrated. Holy shit.
Damn.
At 30, I married a man to please my father. I chose this randomly. Okay, so just so you know, this is just a random choice. That marriage ended in divorce 8 years and 2 children later. After being a single parent for 7 years, I longed for a husband and family. I married a man who had my first love's name. This marriage ended a year later after a lot of trauma for me and my children. 2 years ago, I realized that my true love was missing in action, in quotes, in my heart, and that I hadn't been able to go on with my life. I located him through the Stanford Alumni Register, and after 30 years, talked with him for 42 minutes. He's happily married with 4 children. After that phone call, I grieved for 2 days and then reconciled my love for him in my heart. Abby, no other true love has come into my life. Perhaps no one ever will. Please encourage parents to take their children seriously. The heart is never too young to love deeply and eternally. Thank you. I cannot sign this letter since I don't wish to expose my parents to the heartache they caused me at such a young time in my life, and the profound impact that forcing me to deny my love had on me throughout the years. Finally reconciled, Richland, Washington. Would you like to know what Abby says back?
I bet she doesn't say anything about limerence. because that's what that lady was experiencing.
This is the second time in what, like 4 pods that you've brought that term up?
Yeah, well, it became valid because you read this clearly limerent woman's, I'll never love again. This was the only one, blah, 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 blah. That's what that is, kind of,
This is what Abby says back. Dear Reconciled. Well, hold on. I'm going to read this as Abby. Dear Reconciled, yours is a dramatic story. It's gratifying to know that you have finally found peace and resolved your first love. When parents tell children that they are too young to be seriously in love, what they usually mean is that the children are too young to shoulder the responsibilities that accompany their turbulent emotions. I hope that the next time you find love, it brings you every happiness. Okay, let's unpack this real quick, okay?
Yeah, I mean, isn't she supposed to be giving advice?
Sometimes I think people just need to say it out loud and they need somebody to like, and remember, this is an era before like chat rooms were available to most people.
Right.
This is an era where this was a way that you could tell people how you're feeling on a massive scale without, having it without having it be on the internet. Instead, it was in papers nationwide. So let's dig into this real quick, shall we? How many people do you know who are still with their high school sweetheart? Like, if you had to think about it.
0, I believe.
0?
I don't think I know a single person. I can't think of a single person I know who is with their high school sweetheart.
I can think of a dozen.
Really?
Yeah, off the top of my head.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
I can think of and not just people I went to high school with, but also like people who are in their like 50s and 60s who are married to their high school sweetheart.
Were Chrissy and Brady dating in high school, or was that after high school?
They were. My sister and her now husband started dating when my sister was a sophomore and he was a junior. And they were together for, was it almost? I think it was almost 20 years before they got married.
Okay.
Now,
that would be the one couple I can think of.
They had and they had time apart, right? Like when she went to school in Colorado, but they never broke up, right? They maintained a relationship during that time. So here is kind of my thought process on this. I'm trying to think of couples who I know who got married but didn't stay together. And that's harder for me to quantify because I don't think of those people, as a couple anymore. Like it's odd to think of who's divorced. Now that being said, this pining for somebody, and like my question for Reconciled would be, well, did this guy actually have feelings for you, or was it just the first person who gave you some kind of positive attention and you ran with it?
Right.
Because she, I assume it's because she said, yeah. So it's definitely a female. But she could have been in the friend zone this whole time and we didn't know it.
Yeah, I think the true tragedy in this story is not the lost love, quote unquote, of her high school boyfriend or high school relationship, whatever he ended up actually being. It's the fact that she ended up marrying a guy just to please her dad and lived an unhappy marriage with this guy, even though she's got kids and I'm sure she loved her kids. But that's the sad story, right? Is that she basically, it sounds like she jumped into a marriage that she didn't want and it was really unhappy. And when she got out of it after some time, she thought back to, well, what was a time where I felt happy? Well, a lot of us can say when we were younger, we felt happier. And she's comparing a way she felt as a teenager to the way she feels now as an adult who's already lived a life and has gone through a marriage that didn't work out.
Two marriages.
Did she get married twice?
Yeah, because she talks about At 30, I married a man to please my father. That marriage ended in divorce 8 years and 2 children later.
Oh.
After being a single parent for 7 years, I longed for a husband and family. I married a man who had my love's first name. This marriage ended a year later after a lot of trauma for me and my children.
Oh, okay. I missed that. I thought it was all one big marriage.
I mean, I had to go back and reread it as well.
But I mean, I think the point still kind of stands. Is she's comparing these two negative relationships. One that it sounds like it was at least the time of the writing was pretty recent, and which is traumatic and crappy and sucks. And
do you know what I think is interesting? This is 30 years ago, and I don't think that you really heard the word trauma that often. Like, it wasn't something that people use. I think we use the word trauma now very often to describe things. But, you know, trauma was something that that was a hospital term.
Right.
I don't think people use it. So either this person's very smart. No, okay. At 30, married for 8 years, and then single for 7 years, and then married for 1 more year. So this woman is at least in her mid to late 40s at the time of potentially writing this.
30 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she, it's hard to say because 2 years ago I realized my true love was missing in action. Okay, Tucker, let me put you in this situation. Somebody calls you on a telephone, okay? And they're like, hey, it's so-and-so. We went to high school together. You never went on a date with them. Maybe you did some theater with them, or they were in your sociology class. Did you take sociology?
I did.
So, okay, good. So, and they're like, I just wanted to let you know that I was in love with you. What's your situation right now? Do you have any... And, you're like, I can talk to you for 42 minutes. And that's it. I mean, what do you think the other side of this conversation was like to get a call out of the blue and to end up in this situation? And then she talks about having to grieve for that love for 2 days. But shouldn't that have been something that you did? Shouldn't you have had to grieve for that relationship before you entered either of those marriages so that you could be a present partner for that?
Well, grief can renew. I would also say that I think what she was grieving was the answer that she got by having that conversation, which is that he actually went on and found the love of his life and had, at least from what he was saying to her, who actually knows, they had a 42-minute conversation. But there's all that. She tracked him down after 2 failed marriages, thinking this was the love of my life. I just want to talk to him. And in there must have been a part of her that was like, I wonder what his life is like. Maybe he's been missing me. Maybe he's waiting for this call and my new life is about to begin. Maybe. And she found out that he's happily married, has kids, went on, had a career. They talked for 42 minutes and that was it. And at the end of that 42 minutes, she knew the answer. The mystery was gone. And the mystery is really part of, I'm going to use that word again, in Limerence, having an unobtainable object, limerent object, a person, that for whatever reason, it's an open question as to whether something may happen with you two or not, allows you, the limerent person, to cycle in your head and tell yourself a story. And so, and once the balloon is popped, there's a new kind of grief that comes with that. And sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes several days. First time I was ever limerent in my life, when I was a very young man, I felt it for almost 2 years. And that was very young and immature. And it took a long time to get through a lot of it and to understand kind of what some of it was. And that you're often longing not for that person, but for the idea of that person that you had in your head, and the story you've told yourself about how maybe things would work out in such a great way if they could just see me the way I see them. And it's, it sucks. It's painful, but it's part of life. Of course, I've never been married. I don't have kids, which is its own issue.
That you know of.
that I know of. I'm pretty confident, but I think at the same time, anyone who I might have accidentally gotten pregnant would know there's no money to get from me. So like, I doubt they're going to reach out.
It's not always money. It's like, the want of responsibility from the other part of the party.
Right. Right.
And maybe they're like, he has no money and he's not responsible. I'd rather raise this baby and like make someone else the father. Oh, actually,
let me turn this question around on you, JJ. Let's say,
hold on, before you do that. Ring ring. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this the Stanford Alumni Register?
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, yes, I was given this phone number for the Stanford Alumni Register. I'm looking for John Daniels. Can you provide some information on how to get him? And also, I have a coupon for a Frosty that expired a week ago. Will you still honor it?
When we were thinking about it, I almost was like, I wonder if she looked him up on Facebook. No, this was 1996.
Yeah.
Like
1996.
There were barely chat rooms at that point.
Right, and they certainly were not used by people who were in their late 40s for the purposes of finding long-lost loves.
Right. I wonder if it was something where she wrote him a letter and said, hey, can we talk sometime? Or left a message. I wonder, did he tell his wife? What did he feel after all of it? There's so many interesting questions that would spring off that one. JJ, let me ask you a question.
Ring, ring.
You get a phone call. You get a phone call.
Ring, ring. Ring, ring.
I just played this game with my niece. Hello?
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, yeah. Is this John Thomas?
Who's calling?
My name is inconsequential.
Wait, is this Susan Collins?
Oh my God, no. This is Karen Ackerson. You don't love me. I had to give so many HJs to people at the Stanford Alumni Register to get this phone number. You just go off to Stanford and you become a powerful, rich author of erotic thrillers, and you just left me behind. Can we talk for another 41 minutes? Now, let me put this in perspective real quick.
You think he read that column and was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, because he's like, God, because it's one thing to talk to her for 42 minutes and be like, hey, listen, I got to go, right? At the end of that, it's another to be like, oh, I'm going to pick up this nationwide. I read the New York Times every single day because I'm Stanford educated and I care about what's going on in this world. And at that time, what are we focusing on? It was before the Clinton scandal. I want to read about Spice Girls fever taking over the world. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I like Dear Abby. And you read over it and you're like, oh my God, this woman is taking it too far.
This is not a good day for me. The only thing that could make me feel better would probably be Kiss from a Rose by Seal on the CD from Batman Forever soundtrack.
And you know what? That dude has a Bose CD player. The Soundwave specifically. He's got two of them. He's got one he keeps in the kitchen, and he's got one upstairs. And he bought the single. He didn't buy the whole album because he didn't need the score to Batman Forever. But he wanted the single. He wanted to support Seal. Do you know that my wife's brother told her that the reason his face was scarred and he went by Seal is because he was attacked by a seal, and she believed it for decades. And in fact, even today, I think she still kind of thinks that there's some truth to it.
His ex-wife still does amazing Halloween costumes.
Seal? Who's Seal's ex-wife?
Heidi Klum.
Heidi Klum?
Heidi Klum. Yeah.
Seal got Heidi Klum. Oh, Heidi Klum is great. Her Halloween costumes are amazing. Do you know who else has amazing Halloween costumes? Is Janelle Monáe, who was in the second Knives Out movie, and she was in Hidden Figures, and she's a musician, but she has some like her Met Gala stuff is amazing, but her Halloween stuff is on point. Was it Heidi Klum who one year like went as E.T.?
Yeah. I think if not this last year, or like very, very recently, like she goes, she's like
a worm.
She's definitely putting in like tens of thousands of dollars, if not more than that, to some designers or something to make these amazing costumes. But JJ, what would your response be if you're on the air at KFGO? And sometimes when you guys get live calls, you kind of like pre-screen the call, right? So it's like not going live, but you're sort of recording that you can play it a few minutes later.
That's how it is on the FM side. On the AM side, we just put you right on the air.
Well, like, let's say you got a phone call while at work, and she's like, JJ, I loved you since high school, and I need you to know that you have a son, and he's 23 years old, and I never told you that was me, but that one time that you thought that you were getting lucky with your girlfriend in the tent, I actually snuck in, and that was me that you got pregnant. And here he is. His name is Davis, and he'd like to meet you. What do you say?
Okay, I will give you the true answer after I give you I'm going to poke some holes in this. Number one, never in a tent. Never. It's too hot. It's too sweaty. The walls are too thin. The sound of tent fabric, there's nothing erotic about that. Never in a tent. Ever. Plus, I'm a man of comfort. And if I'm going to get all sweaty, I'm going to go somewhere where I can have like a shower afterwards, right?
Okay.
Number two, I didn't drink at all in high school. So the idea that I would have been so covered, so deep in lust that I wouldn't have noticed someone sneaking into it. The zip.
But it's dark. It's dark in there, JJ.
Here's the thing. I also would never be in a tent without a lantern.
You are
the moonlight.
Deep sleeper. You're a deep sleeper.
So you're saying I'm having sex in my sleep?
No, I'm saying that a lot of things pass you by at night that you're unaware of.
Again, but I have to be able to have sex to create a son. And so this is happening while I'm asleep. Because I can tell you, that happened once in my adult life and only once. But I would say that, so that's the first hole I'd poke in that. Secondly, this is the second thing, right? I'm like, okay, so they're calling in during a live show, but this is the first time I've heard about it. I'd be like, I am not going to get pranked again. I'm gonna put my walls up immediately and be like, Davis is a dumb name. It's like Avis Car Rentals with a D, which we know is just barely above failure. Might as well have named him Favis. In a real world, this is what would happen. If I were to find out that I had a child, I would feel so incredibly overcome with so many different emotions that I don't know what I would be able to do to handle it. I would feel overjoyed that I have, I want a kid. I absolutely want to have a child at some point, whether it's biological or not. I would also at the same time feel so incredibly betrayed and angry because I've now missed a huge chunk of this child's life. I mean, at the time of recording for this episode, it's Father's Day, right? And I've been robbed of the opportunity to help guide this person to where they're supposed to be today. I would also feel incredibly embarrassed that this kid went through life not knowing who their biologic father is. Now, that being said, just because you're the quote unquote sperm donor doesn't make you a father, right? So I thought about that a lot today during Father's Day. I was like, just because you're the one who put two and two together doesn't mean that you necessarily are the father. And so in this case, I wouldn't be this kid's father. I would happen to just be a person who had a hand in the creation of them. But whoever raised them to that point, whether if it was just a single mother, you're mother and father at the same time, right? You're providing both of whatever those roles happen to be. You're providing both parental structures. And so I would be mad and sad and happy. Now, if I found out that it was, JJ, this is Davis, he'd like to meet you. Also, what's your situation right now? I would be even more angry. And then the last feeling I would feel is terrified to have to go home to my wife and be like, hey, listen, what do you think of, okay, let me do some math real quick. What do you think of, okay, so let's say it happened my senior year, right? That would be 24 years ago. What do you think of people in their mid-20s? Because you're about to meet one, and it's going to get real hot real fast. Also, what do we have to drink? Only Diet Mountain Dew? Are you kidding me? I can already tell. I haven't even met Davis face to face, and I can already tell that he's not a Diet Mountain Dew. He's a sweetened iced tea. Go get some iced tea. Go get some iced tea right now. What are you waiting for? Davis is coming to the house. Also, I told him he could live here and I'd get him a job at the radio station. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. Davis, what are you talking about? You invested in cryptocurrency at the get-go? And then you spent it all? Buddy, you gotta stop.